Hello, my children. It is I, Key of W, with more Artisan of Glimmith. Okay. 9 puzzles to go. I think I can do it. Which one should I do? Does it really matter? Let's just jump in. This looks fun. Range 2 to 5, size separation and difference. So size separation, not so much mismatch. I don't have to worry about making sure I never use the same pattern again. I just can't put them next to each other. And then difference. This is wild. I'm just looking to see if there's an easy break-in. I don't think there's an easy break-in. I think I'm gonna actually have to use my brain on this one, and that's so rude to make me do that. So the 1 and 2 is like, okay, that can be anything. If I saw a 3 as a difference thing, I'd know we have a 2 and a 5. But this could be 2 and a 4, right? We can do that. We can also do 3 and 5. But we can also flip them. So this can literally be any single thing. Alright, where's the thing? You got a bunch of 1s here. So you could have a thing like this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5, right? But like, it could also be this is 3, 4, 3, 4. I can go in any direction here. The only thing about the 2s that's important is that whatever size we have on one side, we only have one choice for the other. So we don't have... So if we can nail down any side of the 2, we've got it made. If this is anything but a 2 right here, it's also going to touch that one, right? Because if we even have a 3 here, we're either going to go into that space or we're going to go up here, which would put a 5 on the other side. But like, that doesn't help me. That's just a thing I know. If I put a 4 somewhere, I have to put a 2. I really hope this isn't one of those where you kind of just have to see the whole puzzle. I've done a few like that. They're always irritating. Like if the puzzle takes an hour to solve and the first 15 minutes are figuring out the first move and then the rest of it just kind of goes into place, that's not fun to solve at all. Whereas if it's a puzzle where it's an hour to solve, but like it's a genuine, consistent series of solves, that always feels good. Because if I'm stuck here for an hour and then I get the one thing and then just kind of get the whole puzzle rolling, it's just a matter of, can you figure out the first move? And it kind of feels like I got to look at 90 different places and just guess one of them and see what happens. That's just what it looks like I got to do. That is something I've been thinking about when it comes to puzzle design, is there really is a hard upper limit to how complicated you can make a puzzle. Because beyond a certain point, even though all the puzzle rules are in place and they all work properly, etc., 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 and there is a logical solution, at a certain point, if it is not easily digestible what that solution is, people will just guess, and then you lose all that brilliance, right? You're going to see players solving puzzles incorrectly, and you can complain, go, no, 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 you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to solve it with this logical thing I created. Oh my gosh, it's so clever. It just doesn't matter. If it's too complicated, most people will just not care. They just won't. And I don't. I don't care about that. I want to see something that gives me an invitation to solve rather than something that puts up a brick barrier and says, haha, bet you can't figure this out. Because that, I don't like playing that shit. It's like people who make, like I Want to Be the Guy, which for some reason that just popped into my head. Has anyone ever played I Want to Be the Guy? Go ahead and write a lengthy screed about I Want to Be the Guy in the comments that somebody will read. That game, I remember seeing people play through, and it was kind of funny, haha. Then I tried playing it, and I just realized, like, why the hell do I want to play this game? Because it's so aggressive and hostile to the player as a joke. It's that type of joke of, like, look how hard this game is. And after about 5 minutes, I went, all right, I got the joke. I don't need to play this anymore. Right? I know there's a type of person who likes that sort of game, and I don't want to necessarily denigrate that, but, like, the vast majority of people, if they feel the game is being hostile to them, they won't go, wow, that's so clever. They'll just go, this is hostile. The same with any other art form. If you watch a movie and the movie is like really hostile toward the person watching it, in the sense of like insulting the intelligence of that type of person. You know, like genre buster. I don't know why I'm not solving the puzzle and complaining about movies now. Genre busters, like, wow, deconstruction, and it makes fun of horror tropes by mocking the types of movies that use this. It just feels insulting, and people don't like that. And they go like, why isn't this parody selling? Because you're making fun of the people that like the movie, like that sort of thing. And I've strayed away from my original complaint about this, which is that the barrier to entry on this puzzle feels like uh, it's non-inviting. It's the sort of thing. It's like, I bet you can't figure this shit out, you dummy. Um, it might not be that way, but I'm getting that impression because I'm looking at going. I feel like I just got to pick a spot and guess. Is there anything about this pattern? The thing about its difference, though, it's not an inequality thing where it says the side. So, for instance, I could say that's 2. That would make this a 3. But this could be a 2 or a 4, right? And now this could be a 3 or a 5. And now this can be a 3 or a 5. So, like, a singular guess over here doesn't lead to something that's useful to know the answer to. And if I said, well, what if that's a 3? Well, now this is 2 or 4. This is 3 or 5. This is 2 or 4, and this is 2 or 4. Like, maybe there's something with that? Am I supposed to do parity of, like, even and odd? Because this still isn't a lot to go on. Because, like, maybe that's the thing? But I still feel like I gotta guess the spot. So I think it's these bits here are gonna tell me something. So what if I said, instead of doing the size thing, I just said one's even and odd, and I use red and blue for even and odd. Red will be odd and even will be blue. Or something like that? No, I'm not gonna say which one is which, but if red is odd, for instance, then blue would be even. And we would swap them. And we would keep that parity. But this could also be even, odd, odd. I think that's the point of this puzzle. In which case, like, I still am feeling a little bit annoyed that I have to look at a brick wall for an hour, and then after I solve the brick wall, the rest of the puzzle is going to take 8 seconds. Like, I feel like that's what's going to end up happening, which is I hate that type of puzzle solve. But at least it's asking me to do something original, because I don't think I've had to do this yet. I don't think I've had to think about odd and even, if this is in fact the correct solution. See, the problem with doing puzzles like this at the end of the game is the entire rest of the game hasn't required this type of thing, and so it feels out of place to do this type of solve. If this is the solve, it's going to feel very brilliant, but this game hasn't been about that so far. So I don't know. But whatever this is, for instance, we're going to do alternate here and there. But what about odd and even is important? I just know that we're swapping. And I don't even know what these ones are, right? Because if this happens, if blue happens to mean even and this blue is a 2, then I don't know what goes here and there, right? Because if this is a 3, 4, or 5, then whatever this is, it is going to touch this side, and so we have a situation where we have blue on both sides. But if this was a 2 and it went like this, we could have a 3 and a 5 here, for instance, like that, right? Like, that's something you could do. So we still don't get an answer from that. It still leads to another guess. Like this right here that I've put down, I guess I should find another word besides guess, because I've been using guess rather pejoratively to mean that I'm literally guessing the answer to the puzzle, rather than making an inference like, well, if this was the case, what would I get from that, and then making logical deductions from it. But if I start with this sort of inference, and then I don't get anything out of it, and then have to make a second inference, and then a third, and then a fourth, at that point we are just guessing the puzzle. So if I go from here and then say, well, it's got to be that, because now this is a guess that this here is higher than 2. But I have no reason to make that guess right now. I suppose if this was a 2, we'd have to have this be a 4. But, like, you can always stick those together like so. They don't have to be separate. You can go down here. Do we have any other strings here? This piece here has to be at least 2, so it's got to move in one of these directions. Okay, I suppose here, I think I should pay more attention to this spot. This might be where I need to pay more attention. Because this red can't ever move down. It's got to be bigger than 1, obviously, so it can't move down, because if it does so, whatever this number is, it can't be the same, because a 1 will always alternate odd and even, which means that whatever red is, whether it's odd or it's even, it can't touch itself, if that makes any sense. So it would have to move this way, which means whatever this piece is, it is that, which can't be this, so this must move that way. But that's as far as I can guess at the moment, because this could be a 2, or that could be a 2. But this could go as high as 5, which would bring it around that way. So I think we can make the same inference here. This can't move that direction, so it has to move here, which does mean that's got to go that way. Since this has to be red, that does force a 2. Aha! Aha! That does give me something. That's nice. There. Yeah, cool. Cool. This is a new way to do things. I do like that. I don't like that it is only at the final 9 puzzles of the game, but I do like that. Actually, I wouldn't mind if it was the final 9 puzzles of the game if I didn't have to sit through 1,200 other puzzles, right? If the game was like 300 puzzles long and then they asked me to do this, like, yeah, great, it's a new thing. So now I'm just blaming the game for this puzzle, which has an interesting way to do it. Cool. So this is definitely a 2. That's going to force this to be a 4. I'm going to use a different color for 4. I'm going to use purple for 4 right now. So now this is 3 or 5. This is 3 or 5. We still don't know what it's going to be. Is that right? Yeah, we still don't know. 2, 4. So this could be a 2 or a 4. We don't know. Can I get the same thing here? I don't think I can get the same inference on this side. So this has to move out. This has to be at least a 3. This has to be at least a 3. It can't go here, since we know it's now odd. So it's got to bump that way. This has to bump up there. Now, if this was a 5, we'd have to go up there. Hold on, let's think about this now. This piece. This... Oh, no, hold on. Red and blue aren't odd and even over here. We could be swapped. We don't know. We don't know what this is. I have to keep in mind this one. I know that we have a 2, we have a 4, we have a 3 or a 5, a 3 or a 5. Now, if I go... Actually, if I bring this up, this has to be a 3, and then it has to connect to here. And there. Well, let's think about what piece goes here, because it can't be this one, right? The reason this can't be here is you can't have 2 odd pieces divided, separated by 1. So we have that. If we had this piece go here, right? Sorry, no. If we had a new piece here that wasn't this one, it would have to be exactly 2, which would make this a 3, which is fine. This has to be an even. Is that right? Yeah. Let me make this blue. This has to be even, which means this has to be even. This has to be even. Great, great. That's perfect. That's great. I love that. That means this here is a 5, which today is going to be the cyan color. That means this is even, and it must go. Okay. This even must go up here. So the question is, what do I do with this piece? So now we've got the parity wrong on this side. This has to move up. Now we got to figure out this. This can't go up here because it's going to be a 3. So we've got to make that. That's got to be it. So we've got to have this be a 2. We've got to have a 4. And then this is 5. It could touch that, and that's a 3. We'll see. Alright, I think I'm right here. I think that's a really clever thing to do, actually. Odd, even parity. Have we done... I don't think we've done an odd, even parity puzzle. I wonder why not. I wonder why it's taken this long to get one. Unless we have and I just haven't seen it. Because the thing about this type of puzzle design where you never like explain things to players, there's some stuff early on, but they never explain rule sets, means that you're relying on a player to not only solve your puzzle, but to also like intuit rule sets, and that is dangerous because the vast majority of players will not do that. It just won't ever happen. And so if you want them to do that, you have to design very, very carefully. And the game designers of this game have very clearly not done that. It has not been designed that way. Sorry, I've played the whole game now. It is not designed to make it clear the secondary principles to learn. You only learn the very basic principles of these rules. Any secondary principles that you do, you either are going to magically stumble upon, or you're going to know because you've played a different game that used those principles. So this is a 2, makes this a 3 or a 5. It can easily do that. This has to be, this is a 3, so this is a 4 or a 2. This must be a 4. 25, I don't think I get anything out of that. But we can say we have our odd. These can be separate or the same. That makes this even. Yeah, even, odd, even. This is odds. This must be even. This must be odd. This must be even. That's not true. It's odd because it's 2 away. Odd meaning it must be at least 2. This, if it was a 2, it wouldn't work because it's not away from there. It's 4. It's not the same. So it must go that way. That means this goes that way. This must be even. This is odd, so it goes at least that far. Even. If this was a 4... Hold on a second. This is odd. Now I know the arrangement of this parity, so I know this is odd, which means this is also odd. So we actually just have a 2 here, and we have a 4 there. So here has to go at least that far. Has to be at least a 3, but it could just be that 3. It doesn't have to be separated like this. This has to be at least 3. Size separation so far hasn't come into play because I'm only doing things next to these. But as I get further out, I'm gonna have to think about it. This could easily go here. Can I do anything better than this? Bring this down. If I brought this down, we would have a 2 there. I suppose if I said we have odds. Let's say we have odds here instead of evens. That means because these here are evens, so this is odd. I have to go at least this far. If I did that, this would be a 5. Well, then this would come out. And then this would be a 2. Right? This would have to be 2. This would have to be 5. 2. And then we're stuck because I don't have the right amount. So what if I said instead this is a 5? Well, then this would just be a 3. If these are odds, we definitely need to have, and we have a 4th piece. So whatever we do here, we end up with a scenario where we don't have the right stuff. So these have to be evens, and if the purple's got to be one of them. Like if the purple isn't, if we have evens that this isn't a part of, 2. I could say that's a 4 and that's a 2, but then this is 4 and 2 and 4, 4, 2. Maybe I should do a quick count of the amount of spaces I've got left. I've got 13 left. I've used 2 of them. So these are even. So no matter what I do, what I fill this in, we have an odd number of spaces left. So these can't be evens, right? I can't put these here. If I put this down here like so and had a 2, yeah, that's not going to work. What if it was 2? What if I bring this up? I say this is the same piece. 1, 2, 3, and then that's a 2. This is not going to work at all. If I brought these together, I couldn't do this because then this isn't going to work, is it? No. I could bring it here? No, because then what do I do there? These could be the same thing. They could both be purple. Like if I said that. Yes, I could do something like this, have two. No, I can't have two 2s next to each other. Size separation is a rule. These were both the same. I feel like I'm in guess land. I'm in guess land again. That's no fun. I don't want to be in guess land. I've got just lots of guesses going on here. I need some other thing to get me going. Whatever this is opposite, but I don't know if these are odds and evens. If I knew that these were different, I would know we have to do that, but that's not helpful. We can easily do that. Oh, hold on, I'm stupid. I'm just stupid, that's what it is. So this orange here is a 2. These reds are just representing odd. Well, what's 1 away from 2? 1 or 3, but we can't have 1s because range is 2 to 5. So these both are 3s, and you can't have 3s next to each other because of size separation, so they both have to be the same 3, which means this is in fact a 5. So this must be 1 away from 3, which can still be 2 or 4, don't know. What am I going to get from this? 3 to 5. Yeah, I still don't have an answer for these. I could bring this down, that forces that to be 4. I mean, if I did something like this, can I ever get a thing to work? Well, since I know that this is 4, I'm just going to put stuff in. I have 10 spaces left. This, if it was a 2, I'd have 9. If it was a 4, I'd have 7. This could work. No, this can't work. This could work. Right? Something like this, 2 4s, and then a 2 goes here, a 2 goes here, and the 3 goes there. But that's still a guess. It works, but it is a guess. Is there any way this purple moves over? Because if this purple moves over, that forces this to be just 2. And if this is 2, this is 4. Obviously, we'd have an odd number here and an odd number there. It would also be odd here. This would be at least 3. This would be at least 3. And now, one of these has to be a 5. So we have to add 1, 2, 3 pieces to this, and we'd have 3 left over. Well, this has to be, we'd have a problem, just no matter what we do. So I think from that we can determine we don't move that way. So we would have 4 here, we'd have a 2, and then we can't move up because then this would be, oh no, we could because that could be a 4. But this is a 2, which means that's not a 2. But if this is now odd, because now we got 10 pieces left to do, this one's got to take 1 more or 3 more. So we have an odd number of pieces left. So if I had odd pieces here, this makes an even number. 3 plus 5 is 8, because they have to be 3 and 5 if they're odds. And it's never going to work. 8 pieces left, we're going to have an extra piece that just doesn't fit. So this has to be even as well, which means it's got to connect to these somehow. And so either this, if this was a 2, right, then this is a 4, and it can't touch that because this has to be a 2. If I went that way, it won't go here because this is a 2, we know. So the 2 would go that way. Then this would have to be a 4. And we're screwed. Yeah. I'm trying to work out the thing that the solution I made has to be the only solution. That's what I'm trying to work out. So this has to be even. This has to be even, but like this is what I think it has to be. Can I ever do it the other way? Can I make this? No, because then we have 2 2s next to each other. So I'd have to make this a 2, and it can't go that way. It'd have to be 2. This would have to be 4, so it would have to go this way. We'd have to have this. We'd have to have 4 touching 4. No, thank you. So yes, we have to bring this down like so. Can we do it this way? 2, 2, and then we have a 3? We can. So all I know is that this is a 4, this is a 2, and then this has to move up. So the question is, this is 4. What's 1 away from 4? 3 is, but it can't be next to a 3, so it has to be a 5. Now, this 2... We're either going to do this and then have a 3 here, or we're going to do this and up. So either way, this is even. So that's even. Yes, I know, but I don't know which one it is. So we have even here, which means it might not touch one of those. Now if I go here, this is a 4. But if I said the 2 goes here, I have to have another 3. Alright, so let's suppose I do this. I have to have a 3 here, which is going to force this guy out. It's going to force the 3 up like so, which is a problem because this has to be a 4. And now these aren't going to be 2 away. So I think from that we can determine we got a 4 here. Because that way this is the 2. This can be a 5. If it was a 3, we'd once again have this happen. Well, no, hold on. I made a mistake in my judgment because I assumed that these 5s were different. So if I brought the 2 up, I'd have a 4 here. I'd have a 3 here, but I could just do that. The 3 is not forced into any spot. But the 4 means there's going to be a 4 and 2 on this, so I can't bring that over. So I have to bring that up. I'd have to bring this over. Oh, now this has nowhere to go. This is nowhere to go. So yes, we have to do this. We got to make that happen. If I said this doesn't move, well, if it's just a 3 and it doesn't move, that's too many guesses. Too many guesses. Don't do that. If I bring this up, we got a 4. Well, let's just think how many spaces I got left. I've got to fill 3 more spaces with this purple. That brings you down to 9. I've got to fill at minimum 3 spaces with this. That brings you down to 6. 1 more space brings you down to 5. So if I had a 3 here, could I do it? Well, if I took a 3 and I moved it left, I'd put another 5 in here, right? I'd have to have... And then I need 2 more spaces with this, 3 more spaces with that, and 3 more spaces with that. We would just run out of space, right? There's no way to fill it in. So that would have to move up, which would force this, and we're in trouble. So I think we've got to make this the same 5. Now if I put 5 here, then we definitely have that, which is totally fine, because we can fill that in just great. But I think we have to do this. I'm not totally sure on that. But we got to go here. We've got to have a 3. This bottom section is now complete. This is probably the first time in a puzzle in this entire game where I walked into a puzzle with very low expectations and thinking it was going to be bad, and then it turns out the puzzle was good. This is the first time it's happened. So I'm shocked in a good way. Normally my bad expectations have been confirmed every time. So it has given me a very cynical outlook on this game, because every time I look at a puzzle and go, oh, this is going to be annoying and horrible to solve, I've been right. Until today. So if I move this up, then I definitely have to do that. I'm going to have to fill that in. So now I need 1 more space from this purple. It brings me down to 6. I need 3 more from here. And it's fine. I could do something like this. I can't because of the same... hold on. If I do this, now this 4 has to not touch that. If I do this, there's no room for it. I have to go here. Yeah, there's no way. I don't think this can go up. Right? This can't move up because now it has to go there because it can't be north and south. And then this is a 4 that can't touch a 4 because of size separation. That funny rule. So we have to go that way. So now this can't be an even. This has to be 2 odds. So 2 odds means that 3 plus 5 has got to fill 8 spaces of this 10. Is that even possible? Yeah, if I move this 5 over. Then it's possible. If I do this. It's the only way it's possible. And now I can't have 2 5s in here. There's just not enough space. So I have to fill in this way. I've got to make 1 more from this and 3 more from that. That's 4 spaces. So I do have to make a 5. Yeah, this is actually the only way. I'm pretty sure. So that's going to give me a 3 here, which is totally fine. Because I should have known this is a 5, because 1 away from 2, I'm so fucking stupid. So this has to be 3. Now this right here could be the same 3, or it could be a 5. We don't know. And then... this is an even next... I should remember size separation. This has to be a 2, which makes this a 3, which means these are the same. Means this can't go up. So we've got to block it this way. Oopsie daisy. So we've got to block it that way. Probably could have solved this much sooner if I wasn't such a dope. this cannot be a 3, but it could be a 5. 1 away from 3 is 2 or 4, so we could do this or put another 4 here. Don't know. Can I get... I got 9 spaces left. I can't move this in or I make an orphan cell, so I'm going to do this. I got 8 spaces left. 3 plus 5 does it. 2 plus 3 plus 2. No, I can't put a 3 anywhere. There's no spot to put a 3. Because the only spots that aren't touching, these are all touching 3s. So the only spot to put it would be here in these orphan cell. So there's no more 3 left. So if I were to put into this a 3 and a 5, I'd be screwed. So 2, 4, and 2. 2, 4, and 2 is how it's done. I've got to put 2 2s and a 4. So if this was the spot for the 2, it would go this way, and now we're screwed. We can't fit anything in here. So the 2 doesn't go here. This has to be a 4. Makes that a 2. Makes that a 4. 2, 2, 4. And then this 4 has to be like this. And then we go here, and we're done. Yeah, that's a puzzle that I looked at, and I thought, oh shit, I'm going to have to spend an hour on the first move, and then it's going to be a domino effect. No, it isn't. It's just required a new way of thinking that we hadn't done yet, which is actually a really cool way to do things. So therefore, 5 stars out of 5 to this puzzle. Well done on that. Like, this is exactly what I want. That's what I want in the puzzle game. I want to look at it and go, oh my god, how do I start? But not actually end up guessing. Find a spot I can break in, and then have like wonderful little aha moments as I go along. That's what I want to have. I don't want to have this stacked thing of like, look how hard my puzzle is, where I'm just guessing shit, and then I have to like say, well, technically the puzzle's fine, but I just had a bad time. Because that's not what I want to be saying about the game. I want to be saying stuff about this puzzle. This one is well designed. It's in a game that doesn't deserve it, but it's well designed. My god, I'm never going to get through all this. How about you? Oh god, eyesore. Fucking eyesore puzzle. Alright, we got a 121, so it must be 11 by 11. Yeah, 11 by 11. 60 and 61. So it's 2 areas. That's just what we got. Okay, so 60 is going to be red. These are the same. These are all 60. And then 61 is going to be the blue. Man, I'm so fucking tired of the Watchtower puzzle where it's every spot is a 2. Like, hey, you gotta do the 2 area in a certain way. Like, we've done this puzzle a million times. I see the heart shape. Super clever. That is probably the best moment of the puzzle right here, is seeing the heart shape. Oh my gosh. I have low expectations for this guy. Alright. Can I make any inferences about anything else? Well, given that I only have 2 regions, and the regions are going to have to all connect to each other, that means if I were to move this 61 down like so, I would have to go all the way around. That would just be required. I would have to do this. That's just how the walls work, whereas if this is red, I've got to go all the way around here. Those are really my only options, is to fill that in. Is right here. Not orange, thank you. Will either one of these lead to an immediate break? Let's try to red. If red goes here, we've got to take that. That means blue has to be on both sides of this debacle. Which means what? There's got to be blue there. I don't know if I get any other inferences from that. It's also going to be there, which means red is there. And blue is here. We can't have checkerboards. Do I get any more? Does anything break? It doesn't look like anything breaks. And that's what I really need to see happen, is a break. That's because we're going to break into the puzzle. If I go blue around, then what do I infer from that? We're going to need red there, and red, we can't have checkerboards, so we'd have to go around. We'd have to bring red here. We'd also have to bring red here. No checkerboards means that's blue, means red comes around, has to be that spot as well. No checkerboards would force this. And now blue has to go there, which means, does it go there? No, it has to go there because of the other rules. This is getting me further as far as like having in the more cells would be filled in from this. we would need blue in both of these, and we couldn't have checkerboards, so we'd have to make all that blue. We'd have to make this red. But this doesn't seem to solve the puzzle. This just seems to be getting me more things. So neither of these options have technically broken in the puzzle, because I can't make an inference besides this is what would happen if this was the guess, which means if I continue with this, the entire puzzle's a guess. If I continue with this move. So no, I'm going to say, let's assume that the devs aren't full of shit, which is a big assumption to make, having played through this whole game now. And that they intend for me to actually use a logical thing. Maybe the other side had one that I didn't know, right? Because it's the option. This piece has to be red or it has to be blue. One of the two means it's got to move all the way around. Yeah, so we know that, we know this. This has to be blue, this has to be blue. This seems to get me a lot less info. Because, like, I can put red in here and then move the blue around, but I also can put blue, I could put blue in there and just make the red go somewhere else, right? And the red is there. So, none of that answers anything. So, I guess I need to figure something else out. I just thought the edge is going to be important, because we've got, with this type of puzzle, the edges basically can only swap twice. One of the swaps is here, so the other swap has to be somewhere else, and based on where we put that swap, we figure out the rest of the puzzle. For instance, if I put red here, we would know all of these would be red. They would have to be. We'd have to do that. This would be a little bit sillier. We would have to fill in these and that. We'd have to fill blue in there, which would mean blue is all of these. And that one. So red would have to go here, blue would have to go here. But again, we're just like building this off of a guess. Like, if I pick this, what happens? That's called guessing. And I will harp on the devs for being such fucking assholes about going, you don't have to guess at any puzzle. Like, bitch, shut the fuck up. And that's as far as I get. So, like, there's no picking and choosing that breaks something to say that's obviously not the correct choice. There's got to be something else. This is the type of puzzle I hate. I could also ask what goes in that spot. It doesn't give me the whole edge, but it does tell me something. Because no checkerboards can happen. So if this is red, we have to put blue there, because we can't have this 2x2 of the same color. But if this is blue, we have to put red there. Which doesn't seem to do much. Like, putting this here doesn't really answer any questions. It really feels like I gotta guess. It really feels like that's what has to happen in here. Putting blue in either of these forces red on the outside corner, but that's not really saying much. It feels like starting with the edge. Getting the edge is important, but getting the like what goes, it's finding the spot to do on the edge. I just have to guess it. I just have to guess one, and then say that's the answer to the puzzle. This is the guess, right? This guess gets me a lot further than the other one, but it still isn't a good guess. That's gotta go there. And that's there, which means these are here. That's there, that's there. These are blue. Means they go here, they connect. This is red. And that's as far as that guess gets us. Now, red can go here just fine. If blue goes there, we gotta go all the way around like so. And that's fine, because red can escape on that side. But yeah, it's like I just gotta pick this and go, well, this gets me somewhere, and then if I end up not being able to solve the puzzle, right? If this broke, then I would say confidently this is red and we'd go from there. But since this doesn't break, I now need a second guess. But if the second guess breaks, I don't go back to the beginning and know the answer. I just know to go back to the second guess and try again. Trial and error style of puzzle solving. Which is not a bad puzzle solve style if that's what you want, but if you tell me in one of the first puzzles of the game that that is not required and you can solve them all with logic, then what you're telling me is you think I'm a fucking moron if I do this, which is a great feeling to have when playing a game, is feeling like the devs are mocking you. That's a great feeling to have. So this is a potential thing. This would require that whole move. Whereas if I made this red, it would require blue in both of these spaces. Require red in that space. That's not helpful. That guess doesn't get me anywhere. It's possible then that we can work out what happens if I put blue all the way around the edge. So I can't do that because of this piece here. So the furthest blue can go is there, which does mean I have to put red here. I guess that is a start. So we know this, but we still don't know the answer to this one. But, like, now what? I can put blue here. So let's start with that. What if we put blue here and we go all the way around the edge? We have to put this stuff here. This would be red. This would be red. They'd all have to come out. These have to be blue. That'd have to be red. No checkerboards means this is all red. Blue has to go here. Red would have to go here, and there, which means you'd have to go around the edge like that. Red has to go around again. Blue's got to go there. Blue's got to go around. Red is here. And there, so yeah, blue. This is all the same as before. So it gets a little further by doing this, as far as there's more elements of this guess, but it still is a guess. Somewhere in here is blue. Can that be red? No, if this is red, we have to put red here to checkerboard. So according to this guess, we have to do this. I think that's where I'm supposed to find it. Yeah, this whole thing is make a guess, see it, make a guess, see it. Is this spot now. Red here forces no checkerboard, so we can't do that. So this has to be blue, which means this is red, means that's blue. Means that's red. It still doesn't answer much in the way of this. But now that's blue. Okay, so now we have to put red at least that far. Okay, cool. Now I know that. Yeah, strong dislike for this style of puzzle. In particular because I've done this puzzle 45 times already. I've done we'll put a watchtower on every fucking cell and then do some little twist where you have to make two regions that interlock in a certain way. I've done it 45 times. Like, and it's not like I've done it 45 times because that's the tutorial it's teaching me. I've just done 45 of them. And this game is already bloated. You could cut 40 of them. It's easy. You can just cut them. And then you can do it as DLC or a sequel, or you can put them in your puzzle designer that we puzzled whatever game players make. We can do that in the Steam Workshop. You don't have to put them all in your game. The previous puzzle that I did was so much better than this one. This one is not doing it for me. It's not just because the puzzle is being solved in a way that I find distasteful. It's so much that I don't need to see any more of this shit. The game is already too long. It's like if you're playing a game and you've solved 900 levels and you just want the fucking thing to be over, and then level 901 comes and it's just the same level you did, but like one of the jumps is harder. And you just go like, I already did this. You don't need it twice. My God. Take a cue from every other puzzle game in existence. Brevity is the soul of wit. Which is ironic for me to say because I go on and on about this shit. Well, I gotta make another guess, it looks like. If I put red here, blue, red, blue, red, red, blue, great, blue. Blue would have to go there, means red has to go here, means blue has to go there, and then... But like, I guessed it. It was a total guess. It was trying to break. in this spot, trying to get in here, because there's got to be at least one blue piece. But if the red goes here and the blue goes there, then we've got to bring this around like so. Can't have checkerboards, we'd have to do this. And then one. There's blue here, so it's there. It means no checkerboards. It means that comes around. Still, it's nothing. If it's here. They could both be blue as well. Like, I don't have to make any of them red. I'm just trying to break it. If this is blue, we gotta do that. Which would force at least one of these to be red? No, it just means that blue has to escape here, because we can still make both of them blue and just do that. So maybe that's not where I... Like, it's not enough to say that I can make a little thing, say, what if I did this, and then we make a logical inference and go. It's the fact that I don't know where to look to make that logical inference, so every single move I make is a guess, and no matter if it leads to a logical inference, because it's based on a guess, the entire puzzle is solved by guessing. That is just how things work. If any moment in a 10,000 piece puzzle is a guess, it is all a guess. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going, okay, well, I'm going to try this spot. I didn't get anything from that. Let me try this spot. I didn't get anything from that. Let me try this spot. I didn't get anything from that. Let me try this spot. Didn't get anything from that. Whereas in the previous puzzle, I might have floundered at the beginning, but then I saw a spot to zone in on, and from there I was able to solve the puzzle. There's no spot to zone in on here. It's just guessing. The whole way through is a guess. That is how this puzzle is meant to be solved. All right. And don't come at me with like, well, there's this principle in this style of puzzle when you have two regions that don't connect, the blah, 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 because I've done this on this other game and you learn that this, it's not in this game. This game doesn't tell you about it. If this game features it, it doesn't point it out, so the player can't know that unless they intuit it from another game. If I have to bring homework in from another game, then this game has failed. The end. No argument from there. If I don't learn it from this game, if I don't learn the principle I'm supposed to use, then it isn't in the game. That is how it works. All right. I guess putting this here makes a forced move that forces blue all the way around, but I don't have anything from that. That's a guess. All right, let's find... I need to find a spot to guess that's going to solve something. Suppose if I put red here, it's going to force me to not put red there. It would force blue all the way up there if this was red, but that's if this is that, then this is that. I get fucking irritated with this shit. I just played a beautiful puzzle, and then I gotta play this shit. It'd be one thing if this was the only type of puzzle I played like this, but this is the 45th or something puzzle like this I've played. So I am fucking done with patience on this shit. Fucking done with that. I guess... I just don't even know where to look, and so literally every click I'm making is trying shit and see if it works. I will never feel satisfied solving a puzzle like that. Never. It will never, ever, ever happen. If any click, if I make a single click on a puzzle that I do not believe in my heart will lead somewhere, the puzzle is a failure. That is how it works. I need to be looking at it going, I have a reason to try this. If I make this guess to get something, it's because I have a reason. In my mind, I have envisioned that this will lead somewhere. I can be wrong about that vision, but I have to have it. And I don't have it here. All I have is, okay, let me click here and see what happens. That's all I have. I suppose, that's not helpful. I suppose putting blue here puts constraint there, but it just requires at least one blue cell goes into here, but I already have that requirement from up here. I can't put two red cells. I can put two blue cells. I can put one blue cell in a red cell. I can put one. If I put a blue like this, we've got quite... Actually, hold on. This can't be red. This can't be red. This can't be red. I'm just guessing that fucking shit. This can't be red because now I've done this whole thing. I was just blocked in. So, but we still don't know if this is red. We just know this. It's fucking bullshit. I hate this shit. So now this can still be red. Or it can be blue, and this can all be red. Does that lead me anywhere? This is blue. That's blue. Anyway, this is red. No, sorry, that's blue. That one I know. And the revelations aren't exciting. The previous one, they were exciting. I felt like I was doing something I'd never done before. It was this new experience. I was enjoying it. This is all the same bullshit. Every time I get a little further, it feels like something that I've done before. It's like, oh, I've already seen that that's how watchtowers work, and I'm just not seeing it now. Here's some obvious bullshit I missed from before because I'm stupid and I don't see things fast enough. So if this is red, blue goes here, and then red goes there, which means this is all red. But this is fine. It doesn't really answer my questions. If this is blue, we have to bring that all around, which doesn't answer anything over here. We're going to have to make sure we don't have... This can't be red? No, because that's blue. This can't be red because that's blue. This will put blue there. This will put blue on both sides. This will put blue here. No, it's not getting me anything. I fucking hate this puzzle. It's not even the worst one in the game. It's just like... It's boring. I've done it before. It's not interesting. It's a chore to get through because every single click I make is some kind of guess in some form or another. So even getting this far in the puzzle, I don't feel like I solved it. I feel like I've just endured it. And I don't get it. I don't get how this game was made. I don't get it. Like a lot of other bad games I've played in my life, I understand exactly what went wrong. I can see how it would have happened. But this isn't a big AAA game with hundreds of people working on it where you've got a mismatch between producers and artists and things like that. This isn't the solo indie dev game where it's like, you know, Babby's first video game. You're just trying your best and things come. This is supposedly a bunch of brilliant puzzle designers coming together. And it's just, how do you not see this? Did you play test with someone who's not a puzzle player? Like, not with someone like me. I'm a puzzle player. I'm not a great one. I'm not the smartest one, but I play a lot of puzzle games. Did you take this to a bunch of people that don't play puzzle games and say, hey, I need you to just figure out if this makes sense to you? Or did you only play test this with people who already know how Watchtower puzzles work and how area number puzzles work and that, right? Because you need to take it with people who are dum-dums to figure out if they figure out the principles you need them to figure out. And not just the basic rules, right? The basic rule of Watchtower, that much the game tells you. But can you figure out, for instance, that a Watchtower set of 2 leads to 2 regions that interlock with no 2x2 groups of the same color? Is that obvious to a new player who's never heard of this puzzle type, or do you have to have experience with puzzles to make that inference when the game wants you to make that inference? Because I personally believe a person who has not played this type of puzzle game before is not going to pick up on all the things the game wants them to pick up on. They might get some of them, but they won't get all of them. And that's just not acceptable to me. If you want to be a big boy in the big boy world, you've got to do better than this. I just need to take a guess and go with it. I can't sit here waiting for me to figure out an element of this puzzle because A, it's not going to happen, and B, it's not fun to do. So we're just going to take this, we're going to run with it and see what it gets us. Gets us fucking fuck all. Nope, we're not going to run with that. We're going to run with this one gets me more things, this one gets me more. That one gets me that, and it gets me that. I need to make a second guess now. Bullshit puzzle design. I take back everything good I said about this game earlier in the video. That was a waste of my goodwill towards men. I should save it for people who deserve it. I suppose if I did decide to do this move now, that I should be able to get a little further now that this set is pretty fixed. Because now if I do this... No, if I do the other way, sorry. I do have quite a bit of restrictions that suddenly come into place. Right? I suddenly have a shot at maybe solving something if this is correct. Because if not, then I know this isn't blue. But that's the only thing I would know is this isn't a blue cell. That's going to be blue. That's going to be blue. Which means these are all red. This is blue. This would be blue. This means this is blue, so this kind of escape through here. This would have to escape through there. This would have to be blue. This would have to be red. Good. Red is here. So... Can I get it from here? Now, I need to make a third guess, because there's not an answer to this one. If I did that, this would have to escape and connect. There it is. It's too large. So... But now we can't because this is too small. Yeah, it's too small. So... Take it back. It means that we can't put... So all I got from that was that we can't do that because it's too large. Was there any way a rational person would deduce that without going all the way through the puzzle? No. But that means it's got to be red. Because if it isn't, we have too many blue cells. Somehow I'm supposed to know that. Because, like, the area number might mean something, but I don't see how any rational person would figure out what that means, aside from their two separate areas. Again, if I put blue here, now this would force all the way around, and it's going to be too large again, right? This sort of thing. Once again, it does the same sorts of problem solving, but this is going to end up with the same problem we had before, which is that. It's got to cut through somehow. That's going to go there. But yeah, this is going to end up being far too large. Right? But I don't see it. Like, I just don't see that. It's just not visible. So I just need to find a guess that works and then gets me something. This is the fucking irritating piece of shit puzzle. Maybe this game is a 0 out of 5. Maybe that's what it is. I'm gonna bump it down from 1. 1 out of 5 to me means that it's not really a good game, but if you're into this genre, then it's worth maybe trying out if you're a completionist or something. I don't think this game is worth trying ever. The fact that I'm playing it makes me feel like a chump. I feel like a loser playing this game. I feel like a fucking idiot. I shouldn't have done this. I should have just not made a YouTube channel because who gives a shit. I should have just gone back to doing whatever else I want to do with my life. Like, what kind of idiot plays this game? Apparently me. Apparently I'm the idiot that plays this game. Okay, how much do I care? We're going to ask us how much I'm doing this. I'm caring about the puzzle. I'm caring and trying to solve it. How much do I care? I do not care. I do not care. It's not going to solve. It's not going to be a good solve. It is. I just needed. I would have liked this game more if I had just done this the instant I detected a bad puzzle. The instant I detected it, I just started doing this. If I just started that immediately, I would have been much happier. I would have liked the game more. We're just going to do this. If I had just said, this is how we solve the puzzles. We don't even bother. I would just be happier. It's not worth it. This game is not worth trying. It is not worth expending effort solving the puzzles because 9 times out of 10, you will not be satisfied with the solution. 9 times out of 10, you just feel like a fucking idiot. It's not worth it. Alright. From here, I think I can actually do something that feels like puzzle solving. So at the very least, I don't come out of this completely empty-handed. This is blue. That's blue, so it's red. So blue's gotta go around, right? Yeah, blue's gotta go around. Blue's gotta go there. That's gonna be red. No guarantees on whether these connect yet. This has to escape out because it can't get out that way, so that's red here and there, which means the only escape is in fact this way. That's there, that puts that there, and it's done. Who gives a shit? Terrible, terrible fucking ass puzzle. Just awful. Awful shit. Awful, 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 awful. Like, this should have been cut. This game should have been cut down to 20 to 30% of its size. Honestly, it is so overblown. It's inexcusably overblown for a game. And the fact that I keep finding good puzzles in it only makes it worse, because it makes me realize that there was talent involved in this, talent that was absolutely wasted. Wasted all the way down to zero talent. I would be embarrassed to have my name attached to this game. If this was released, if I had contributed puzzles to it, I would be embarrassed at this mess. I would want to make sure that if I was trying to get a job somewhere else, nobody knew I worked on this game. That is how horribly I feel toward it. I don't want to be associated with this crap. But here I am associated with it because I'm playing it like a moron. I've done this puzzle a million times. It's not interesting anymore. Stop trying to be as clever as you can and make it as hard as you can. Congratulations, you can make hard puzzles. Now make them good. Now make them good. Or just cut them. Just cut them from the game. I cannot believe this. Alright, I gotta make 2 more of these ass videos at least to get through 7 puzzles. Probably 3 more. And then I will be free from this burden of my own making. I didn't have to start this game. I started it because I'm stupid and I was believing in humanity, and I should never ever do that again. Alright, goodbye.